Welcome to the channel, everybody, and we did it from Division 4 to Division 3, which is a huge milestone in eFootball just because Division 3 is where you start the ranked matches, and it gets real. But as you can see, my play has just gotten a ton better. The build-up, the defending, everything is adding up, and it absolutely leads to more success, more fun playing the game. Now, the biggest thing that helped me, besides the tips that I gave you, in the previous two videos, which I promise you, those eFootball Elite tip videos I'm giving you, it's not just nonsense. These are things that will truly help. I know there's a lot of different videos I notice in eFootball because it's a very detailed game. There's a lot of these little videos where it's a lot of non-information, right? Tip number 1, to defend, win the ball. If you win the ball, you will have a much better chance attacking. If you shoot the ball in the goal, you will score, stuff like that. You don't need to worry about that with me. I promise you I'll never do that. I can't stand content creators like that. Any tips, any types of tutorials, anything I do like that, I'm always going to be sure to give you information that will help you. I'm not saying it's not like a hard thing to learn every time I do a video, but sometimes the easiest stuff, if you aren't, utilizing it or utilizing it the right way, it can make your experience a lot worse. So with that being said, I strongly recommend you continue to watch the tip videos that I provide because they are helping me a ton with getting better at the game. It's just a whole unique experience from, the FC world and UFL, and anybody who maybe like me and is just now giving the game a shot. It's going to take some time to learn, but those tips that I put together will absolutely help. As you see some of the goals I'm scoring, just some beautiful finishes. That's one of the things about eFootball, man. The realism in like the animations, right? How the players look, especially, compared to their real life counterparts, is unlike any other game. Now, I wish they had better camera angles. I know this one isn't the most popular one. I know there's a closer up camera angle. The reason I go with blimp, though, is because, especially in eFootball, I want to see more of the pitch, more of my players, more of my opponent's movement, because it's not as manual. For instance, in FC, I can use the mini map, and then also I don't need to necessarily see exactly where the runs are going, because many times I'm dictating the direction of the run or where my, player's running to. So then when I have the ball, I sort of know where the next player is going to be already. With that being said, that's not the case in eFootball, right? You're using AI runs and you have to pick the best one. So you don't know which run they're going to make. And then a lot of times you have to super cancel, right? And bring your player back towards the ball. At least with me, that's a majority of the time. Sometimes it's, letting the ball run a little further and things like that. But a lot of times you're correcting an AI run when they're running away from the ball. So that's why I use the blimp. But it takes away from the beauty of, those little details that eFootball has animation-wise that just, it's at the top. And this camera angle definitely doesn't do it justice. But moving on, you see here, promotion to Division 3. It came fairly easily after the first two games where it was the same old thing, same old mistakes by me. But even in those games, I could sort of feel myself turning the corner, like I was starting to get certain things right, and they just didn't come together in those first two games. Then boom, we have the 0-0 tie against a very good opponent, much better than the two teams that beat me prior. But I finally just turned that corner, and after that I knew. I was like, okay, I got this. And sure enough, we go on a win streak all the way into promotion, and just a ton of beautiful goals as you've been seeing. And then Division 3 gets real. Yes, right off the bat, you notice it is much harder. Now, I have 3 games. Not a ton, but just enough to kind of get a taste of what's ahead. I'm 0-3, but I started off very good. I actually outplayed my first opponent, should have had the win, but it came down to just a few areas that I would say come with experience playing eFootball. It was actually a deadlock through most of the game, and then I broke through with this beautiful goal here you see by David Villa. Excellent finish. I actually got him through purchasing Maldini. I told you I put $50 in total to end up getting him, but there is this like bundle pack they do where you'll get like coins, but then you'll get like a player or 3 players or whatever. So you get less coins for the dollar value, but you get players or managers instead. They do some of these bundles here and there, it looks like. So I got the one with David Villa. I don't know if he's going to start over Mbappe, though. Where he lacks in physical areas, though, like speed, acceleration, stuff like that, he more than makes up for with superior AI. I mean, his runs are fantastic, but Mbappe, for being just a standard player, I would say like he is one of the few. There's a couple others. Vinny is one of them too that just still feel incredible on the ball. That you can just they feel like they're boosted up players themselves, right? But when you look into the boost, by the way, when I say like boosted players, I notice like with Maldini, the boosts aren't that much as far as the attributes go. Like you're talking like one attribute number higher, right? That's it on each of these areas when you have a boosted player. But you can absolutely feel the differences in games. Now that also might come down to some of these double boosted players also have like the best skills. I know, for instance, whenever you get a player like Maldini, both him and Thuram, who's another player in that same promo, it says Fortress, right? And then you go in, and that's one of the skills. And then talking to just some of the guys in the Discord, there's apparently I forgot what it was, something Blitz, I think. Forgot the exact name of it, but I guess it was some kind of shot that like Son and Salah and some of these special cards had. So apparently, I think more than boost, and you guys can correct this in the comments, but based on what I'm seeing in games, more than the boost, the skills that these different special players have, right? These double boosted players. That's just what you see on the card. Like Maldini had 1 boost, I just added the second, so now he's double boosted. Ribéry had 1 now, and then I added a second, so he's double boosted, right? Pep Guardiola's got 1 boost. And then David Villa's got 1 boost, right? But I can add a second one. But what I believe makes him special is those additional skills that they have that some of these other players don't. But either way, whatever it is, I can promise you that those players do feel different than the standard players without a doubt. And a lot of times it can be the difference maker. I've noticed it in several games. I'm showing you one entire half so you can be the judge yourself. Now, obviously, I have a lot of work to do eFootball-wise, right? And I know this. But as you watch this half, this player, for a large majority of the half, got outplayed. The one thing he did over and over was utilize his aerial superiority with Haaland. So to me, that's not necessarily a skill. I know it's a certain way to play. As you see, he just kicks it out every time. There's no build-up. There's no thought behind it. Even that goal you saw earlier from Haaland, I'm not saying it was a bad cross or anything, but really, he wasn't dangerous as like a skilled player. He just knew how to play eFootball with those bigger guys. He essentially is booting the ball up every time, trying to win a flick on, get it down the sideline, try to hit a cross to Haaland, who he's got, whatever boosted Haaland, every one of his players are double boosted. So he's got a double boosted Haaland. Again, whether it's the boost or extra skills that particular Haaland has, I don't know what it is, but you can feel a difference. Even for me, whether it's David Villa with his AI, the runs he's making that are way better than Mbappe's, or Maldini, who's just unbelievable, right? And I just noticed, I don't know how this is possible. You can answer this in the comments too if you want to, but Maldini, I noticed, can play center back. It doesn't say that he's able to. It doesn't have any additional positions. I didn't add any. I tried and got a dupe, right? It just gave me another left back, but I tried to give him center back ability, and it just didn't let me. However, in game, when I went to do my game planning, I kind of moved some players around position-wise. I noticed when Maldini goes to center back, he doesn't lose any attributes. So can you guys explain that to me? I didn't add center back to him. It doesn't say he has center back under additional positions. Why does he not get any type of stat boost when I put him in the center back spot? If I try that, for instance, with Frimpong on the my right back, if I try to move him into the center back area, his stats go way down, not Maldini's. So I don't know what that's about. I'd love to get an answer on that. I'll actually probably add that in the Discord. But if you have the answer, leave it in the comments. With that being said, even with Maldini, I can feel the difference with him as opposed to, my other defenders. Like I just said, David Villa, even Pep Guardiola in there. Like, he just has this different feel to him than like Declan Rice, who I had prior, who could still make tackles, right? Was very good in the air and stuff, but as far as just AI movement and just how they feel in the ball and stuff, it's just much better. So I can already tell in Division 3 and on, that's exactly what I'll be facing, and we'll just have to see how it goes. Obviously, I can have some sort of success when I'm scoring the first goal in each of my first 2 games, right? Now, does that mean I was the better player? No, I'm not saying that at all, but when I first started, I wasn't even getting a sniff on goal. The one thing I will say, and I have to play more games to really dig into it, is that these boosted up players in eFootball, more than any other football game, right, make up for a lack of skill in some areas. Like it definitely did with this last opponent here, without a doubt. And in the first 2 games, they were better than this last opponent, but it was very similar where when you have these better players, right, you're going to get away with certain things. Not to mention, as much as you can play beautiful football in eFootball, right, there are abilities to exploit different things, right, based on having better players in different areas. The last one, he was exploiting just being able to kick the ball up because Holland was winning every head ball, and it gave him a get out of jail free card many times, and also allowed him to pretty much skip over proper build-up, right? Because when it came to passing and choosing the right decision as far as the pass to make and stuff like that, he was absolutely awful. So those are the kinds of things I have to see more of as we go, but I can definitely see where that's a shortcoming of eFootball, just because any game that's so AI influenced like that, so heavily AI influenced, there's going to be players that can utilize that and make up for a lack of their own ability to play football. So with that being said, I know I'm going to keep grinding. I keep moving forward every time I play the game, and that's not going to stop. You should keep grinding. Give eFootball a shot if you haven't yet. I'm sure if you watched to this point, you will. Thank you so much. Please smash subscribe. Please smash like if you haven't already. Let's keep this movement going. Build this community up. I appreciate all of you, and I will see you on the next one. Peace out.